One of the reasons for change, I don't have a watch on. One of the reasons for changing the channel name from Bark and Jack to my name was because I wanted to relax things a bit. I felt like things were getting a bit too serious. It lost the conversational side, which is what I wanted the whole thing to be about. I wanted this to be a conversation between you and I felt like that was missing because there's this big barrier of the channel being a company name. So I feel like the Q&A is a good place to start, to get back to that whole conversational thing. Also, I've been really uninspired when it comes to photography, and I haven't been posting on Instagram very much recently. I see Instagram as a photography place, and it's not supporting photographers. It's not supporting photographs, full stop. So I feel a bit of a disconnection there. The problem is I enjoy taking photographs. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna talk to you and try and take some photographs. Plus, I've just got some TGN, the Grey NATO swag through. I bought one of their supporter packs. Can't remember what it's called. I don't know what this is. Kerchief and Woggle. So the first question is from Canon. What camera lenses do you use to photograph your watches? I have three main setups that I have. It'll be a Sony full frame body. I've got the A7S3, A7 Mark IV, and A7C. And lenses that I use, it's 50mm macro lens f2.8. It's a 35mm f1.8. This is a 90mm Sony macro. But 90% of the time, my photographs are shot with this. This is the Leica Q2 with a 28mm lens. I wouldn't typically pick a 28mm lens, but that's got 60 megapixels and you can just crop in like crazy. The next question is from Jave_T23. If I get anyone's name wrong, my apologies. Pretty stupid. What is the next advancement you want to see in watches? Next advancement that I want to see in watches is honesty. I want brands to stop messing about when it comes to how things are made, where things are made, whether something's in-house. I think we need to remove this whole obsession around in-house, both from a community standpoint, but also from the brand standpoint, because it seems like, no, it isn't seems, it has become this marketing thing. It is just marketing BS. The large majority, these are nice, I don't know what exactly it is, but it's nice. The large majority of brands don't have in-house things. There's only a handful of brands that actually do this properly, Rolex and Seiko being one of them. And it's this idea of brands being able to buy in movements or acquire movement manufacturers and then be able to say that's in-house. It's basically such a murky area, and we need brands to stop making it more murky, because the more murky it becomes, the more diluted the phrase becomes, the meaning becomes, and therefore the whole thing is just pointless. This is really cool. It's got a watch on it. It's got a Doxa. Of course it has. It's TGN. So it's basically if you want to become like an adult scout. That's pretty cool. Luke has asked, why is the Instagram still called Bark and Jack? The Instagram's still called Bark and Jack because Bark and Jack hasn't gone anywhere. The whole Bark and Jack thing started as Instagram about 7 or 8 years ago. So Bark and Jack isn't going anywhere. This channel is, I guess, links to Bark and Jack. I just didn't like talking behind the company name. So the Instagram's gonna stay the same. The products are staying the same. The branding, nothing is changing apart from the channel. Drad2531 has asked, how safe do you feel wearing your Rolex, etc. in public? Has it changed since you first started wearing them? I feel I don't wear my noticeable watches in London anymore. Actually, I haven't done for a long time. In Scotland, I feel absolutely fine. Most of the time, I feel fine because, to be honest, I mainly wear my Explorer or my Explorer 2, neither of which are particularly hype watches, and you'd have to be quite a knowledgeable thief to recognize those watches as being anything other than just another watch. I love Rolex as a whole, but one of the things that I'm put off Rolex, or just hype watches in general, is that you just can't enjoy them. I want to wear watches where you can just enjoy them and not worry about it. And yes, it has changed. It's changed massively. When I shoot photographs or when I do photography, I really like repetition of colors. It doesn't matter how subtle it is. There's something pleasing about repetition, but that's one thing that I try to go for. So within this shot, I want to shoot my Explorer 2 because I can. And also, I like this orange. There's orange within this map, and then there's orange on my little mini bug out. Hi Jun, what is one watch that you wish you could get a redesign or an upgrade? Similar to how Rolex Explorer received an improvement from the 114270 to the 124270 by 2023 Watches and Wonders. Something that I've been really bugging about is IWC and the thickness on their chronographs. I'm obsessed with IWC as a brand. I'm obsessed with IWC's designs. I'm very, very close to be buying an IWC and I'm borrowing a whole load next week. But one thing that really puts me off their chronographs is how thick they are. It would make such a better product if the chronographs were thinner. They're stunning looking machines. I'm desperate to get one. It just needs to be thinner. I'd even go for a manual wind chronograph. Remove the date, remove the soft iron cage, remove the rotor and just have it as thin as possible. But ideally just create a thinner chronograph movement. That's what I'd change. Out of Time has asked, will we have more content for your channel or is About Effing Time your main focus?
Which watch is the ultimate Bond watch?
Last Bond standing.
Last Bond standing, yes! I hate anything that has the Bond logo on it. They found this actual watch in a flea market.
The best Bond watch has to be the one that had the coolest shit in it.
I didn't want to have just the watch on the wrist. I wanted also to have the picture of the actor with the watch on the wrist.
My plan for this year, I know I've said it a lot, but there's been loads of changes behind the scenes. This year is to expand the channel and the channel's infrastructure. I've literally just got an editor to help with some videos, not all videos. There's so much more content to be making and I just need help doing it, help shooting it, help editing it. And I want to have a local team doing that. I'm looking for an office space in Glasgow. I'm looking for a team to help build the content. So to answer your question, rather than just rambling on, no, About Effing Time hasn't become the main output. It's just a new output. Yes, there's going to be more content here. I wouldn't say one is more important than the other. They're just two different projects, really. My coffee of choice is Brazil by a local Glasgow coffee roaster, paper cup. What do you think, Dan? Hey Dan, what do you think are the most important things about watches? I'd just say enjoyment is the single most important thing about watches as a whole. Enjoy what you buy, enjoy what other people buy, and it doesn't matter what any other aspect is of it. If you like Swatch watches, amazing, buy those, enjoy them. If you only like high horology, Patek, Roger Smith, great, buy that, enjoy that. But just appreciate other people's enjoyment and enjoy things through other people's eyes as well. Iron Barks has asked, I'm in the US and want to buy a luxury watch. Which platform would you suggest? I'd suggest checking out Bezel. It's an iPhone app, but it's one of the newest and safest ways to buy a luxury watch. Every watch they sell has been authenticated by watch experts, so you can shop with absolute confidence. They have a modern and easy to use platform to buy and sell your watches. But if you're unsure of what you want or you need a little bit of guidance, they have curated collections, articles, and also in-house watch specialists and experts to help you along your watch buying journey. They have some of the most desirable inventory from everyone who you would expect. Rolex, Patek, Audemars Piguet, Cartier, Omega. They have the lot. There's an exclusive discount for you. You get $250 off your first order if you use discount code BARKJACK250, all in capitals and all as one word. There'll be a link in the description down below and the first comment to help you check out Bezel. Here is Matt has said, brutal question incoming. Pick 2 alternative hosts for About Effing Time. Who would they be and why? That's quite simple. It would be literally anyone. And why? Because the other 2 guys are highly replaceable, highly annoying, and to the point of I would just accept anyone. Brutal question and an honest answer. What's your favorite Grand Seiko piece from Mank Watches? My favorite would be anything with a 9F quartz movement. I've got some Grand Seiko content coming. The next question is, what do you think of the Grand Seiko 9F models? I love all of the 9F models. The 9F quartz movement is just insane. This is the SBGX259. I don't know what that is. Oh, okay. I've got hands on with that. This is the white dial version that you're talking about. I tried the black dial and I'll be doing a video very soon. I think it's a great watch. For £2 grand, it's, I don't know why it hasn't got more coverage, because I think it's brilliant. Sam, now that you have your Explorer 2, where's the other watch you're talking about? What are your thoughts on the White Seamaster? I can't remember where it is. Explorer 2 White Seamaster. So my thoughts are, this watch will be going at some point. I've been holding on to it simply because I love the movement inside. And if this watch was the only watch with the movement in, then I'd probably hold on to it and just keep it, because I do think the movement is brilliant. And I regret selling my Grand Seiko that had the 9F quartz movement inside. I kept that for a long time because I just liked the movement. I sold it because I couldn't justify holding onto a watch that was a couple of £1,000s just because of the movement. I now feel like you can do that. You can just hold onto a watch because it's got a great movement, and that's kind of the reason why I've held onto this. I've not worn this watch since I've had my Explorer 2. For those who follow the channel, I bought this watch solely because I had to wait for my Explorer 2. Now I have it, this is essentially redundant. But the watch that I want to replace this with is likely to be an Aquaterra with the same movement inside. This guy's asked, what have you learned about yourself through your watch collecting journey? Wow, that's a hard one to answer. I know what I want to say, but it's putting it into words, which is the challenging thing. When I got into watches, I don't know if it was intimidated or didn't connect with, but I didn't like the snobbery that I experienced from watch ADs and the perceived exclusivity of nice watches. The idea that to own a Rolex, you need to be a wealthy person, you need to come from money as opposed to earn your money. And that negative viewpoint was, in hindsight, more about my insecurities as opposed to the actual reality of the watch world. There very much are snobs within the watch world. There very much is an exclusivity around certain brands, but anyone who is a snob isn't a true watch enthusiast. You can be a watch enthusiast and own one Swatch watch or own one £100 watch, but still be very knowledgeable about Patek because you've spent the time learning. And so the idea that you need to be wealthy to be a watch enthusiast, it was perceived to be a barrier, wealth or lack thereof, perceived to be a barrier to be a watch enthusiast, but in fact that was just my own insecurities coming out. Ironically, the higher up you go within the watch world, whether it's with brands or with watch collectors, typically the wealthier the watch collector, the more diverse their watch collection. I've experienced more snobbery from retail staff in a Mont Blanc boutique than I have with a Patek boutique. It was just the realization that actually people with money aren't inherently bad. Brands who charge a lot of money for their watches aren't inherently snobby. There's just a mixture of, there are assholes everywhere. It doesn't have to be connected with wealth, and that was in fact just an insecurity of mine. I've got a couple of shots, so I feel like I killed two birds with one stone. You guys entertained me whilst I was taking photographs. So guys, thanks for watching. If you want to check out the podcast that I'm part of, it's About Effing Time everywhere. If you're on Instagram, give me a follow at Bark and Jack. And if you want to check out my photography stuff, it's at I Am Barks. And I think that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.